All right. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another day of Saber Sims DFS office hours. Today is Tuesday, September 30th of 2025. Looking ahead here, we had a 4-game MLB playoff slate get underway already. Good luck to all of you playing that slate. And then we have a single WNBA playoff showdown tonight as well. October is starting tomorrow, so NHL and NBA are going to be quickly upon us as well. So should be a fun day of DFS here and fun forecast looking into next month. For those of you who are new here, welcome. My name is Andrew. I'm one of the coaches over here at SaberSim. This is a show where we go over how to use the SaberSim app, answer any and all DFS related questions. Get your questions in one of three ways here. First off, send us an email, support@sabersim.com. Second, post it live in the YouTube chat. Third way, post it in the office hours channel in our Discord server. If you're not in our Discord and want to get access to that channel, there is a link in the description of this video. You also get access to our similar channels, individual sport channels, and you get access to the rest of the SaberSim team. Just can't say enough good things about the Discord. But with that said, we do this show Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. Eastern, and then we do this show on Saturdays at 12:30 p.m. Eastern. So tune in any one of those days, get your questions answered. All right. Had a number of questions come in prior to the show, so we got those queued up here. Going to pull up SaberSim and jump right in. All right. First question: is there any times that ranking by ROI is better than using portfolio? There's times where the portfolio gives me lineups with ROI of like 30%, while ranking by ROI would give me 300%. And then there was like a continuation to this question that I saw. So I'm going to go down. Second part was if I'm using a very small amount of my bankroll and comfortable with losing more and don't want to play for a floor on the given slate, would playing for ROI be better? All right. So these are like two questions in one here. I think it is okay to use ROI, especially if you're willing or more able to stomach very high negative ROI days. Okay. DFS is one of the swingiest, if not the swingiest form of gambling that I'm aware of, or like peer-to-peer gambling, like for sure. Right. If you look at like limit poker or no limit Texas Hold'em or pot limit Omaha or DFS, right. Or like sports betting or, all those different type of like markets, right? DFS variance is, far and away the highest, and which can lead to very long downswings. And, if you ever seen like a DFS bankroll, it's usually like a big trek up and then like lose until kind of like your next spike, right? Like a lot of other type of bankrolls for like sports and stuff are usually a little bit more of like a slow trek upward, like kind of like climbing a mountain, and with like some downturns, right? But not so drastic. And like here's like an example of like a bankroll graph from some back testing that like we've done, right? Where in DFS it's one big spike and then you're just going down and then until your next big spike or your next big spike, right? And so it's always kind of moving in that way. Portfolio was created to try and help people weather these storms, right? But if you're like, hey, I'm not really playing that much, win or lose is not really going to like kill me here. And I'm pretty, comfortable stomaching, even like a goose egg, right? Like, hey, I think if that's where you're coming from, and everybody plays DFS for different reasons and has different approaches, I think that's okay to sort by ROI. So if ROI feels like the right sorting metric for you, then I would at least give it a shot. I've even suggested to people to like, hey, maybe, whenever you're trying to trial and error things, right? Set aside like a certain number of contests or contest and take that approach, right? Like, okay, hey, I'm playing 2 contests. I'm going to use portfolio in one. I'm going to use ROI in the other. Or I'm playing 10 contests, right? You're going to split it up 5 and 5. You could do it a number of different ways. I usually do recommend when you are experimenting to experiment in your lower dollar contests first before expanding it to your higher dollar contests and effectively all of your contests, right? If you like what you're seeing. So that would be my advice there. All right, next question. Was playing 6 slates for NFL tonight and wanted to remove my 3 max from my single entry 3 max group so they would be given a separate group each, like each of my MME. I deleted / recreated my lineup group templates and re-uploaded contests from the host site before rebuilding to start fresh. But lineups still wouldn't assign to contests. I tried clicking the green plus under the group and attaching contests accordingly, but was unable to save lineups to groups despite my pool having 5,000, could not save. My other build with the original group worked fine. Can you walk me through the correct way to delete, create, and save lineup group templates? Okay, so I think I'm speculating here. This is a little bit more of like troubleshooting type question, right? So this is like a little bit better, something to send in to our team via like the question mark here, right? You can send like copy and paste your message here, or send it in via like report a problem, because this is going to be something that we might have to like figure out. Hey, what did these look like? How can we fix them? Now, if your single entries and 3 maxes are getting grouped together, my guess would be it has to do something with the way your template is written. Okay. For instance, a single entry template where it says my entries equals 1 can also include contests that are not single entries, right? It can include a contest such as a 3 max where maybe you've only entered 1 lineup into it. Maybe I put 1 lineup in the flagship, right? When my entries equals 1, that is different than saying max entries equals 1, right? So maybe if you're using my entries for your single entry template, change it to max entries, right? This will make sure that, hey, even if I entered 1 lineup, in a 3 max, well, that's not going to get included here because I'm grouping contests where the most entries you can enter is a single one, right? So like that's something. So my guess is that it probably has something to do with the requirements here. Now, if I needed to, redo these templates, right? Okay, I redo the logic, I resave. As long as I save them, star them, and then re-upload my entry file, when I open up a new build, the group creator, right? The process that creates the groups is going to rerun when I open the new build. And so it'll have the new logic. It'll auto create the groups because they're starred, and then it will have your latest and greatest entry file. So some combination of that, I'd say like those are the steps, like, rewrite your template, save it, star it, re-upload your entry file, open a new build. If you do that, then you're going to be okay. But if you're having trouble, getting the right template or the template to do what you want, I would send our team a message and we can help you figure out, hey, how is it written now? How can we adjust it and, get you to the resolution that you're looking for? All right. Next question. Hey, Andrew, when we create projection, floor, and ownership filters to our lineup pool post build before the slate starts, do these filters get thrown out the window once we start late swapping? If I understand correctly, the goal of late swapping with live data is to maximize ROI at the lineup level. Been thinking ahead to NBA as well. Thanks. Right on. Good question. So I'll tell you how I handle it. I will allow the late swap tool to generally do what it wants after the slate locks. Now, I do think that this is a little sport dependent, right? Because like for NFL, right, which is like mostly what I've been using it for. Well, for NFL, 8 games are locking at once and then the other 4, right? In NBA, it's like way different. You might have a, 10-game slate, but lock is 2 games. Next window is 2 more. Next window is 2 more, right? And the slate, slowly locks, right? What I would probably consider is how big my late swap pool is. Okay, let's say I have 150 lineups, right? And then let's say that, we're in NBA season and 2 games out of 10 start. Well, I late swap, my pool is still, 5,000 lineups, right? SaberSim's still able to build 5,000. Okay, I would be comfortable putting the filters back on, right? I have a lot of lineups to work with. But, let's say we're like more than halfway through the slate. I run a late swap. I get, 1,500 lineups, right? Well, now so many of my players have locked so much of my, so much of my flexibility is kind of gone, where now my pool is shrinking. I would probably leave it off, right? And then, there's also like the consideration of, well, if two games just started, NBA tip-off is always like 10 minutes after lock, right? So how much has really happened in that, 10-minute window where you still need time to run the late swap, right? I'm usually starting mine 5 to 10 minutes before, if 10 actual minutes, not like 10 NBA minutes, like 10 real-time minutes go by, probably a lot has not happened at the start of an NBA game, right? So there's also the consideration of like, okay, yeah, we're trying to take advantage of the live data, but how much is actually available, right? If there isn't very much available, then I'd probably be okay like leaving the filters on until there's enough live data available to actually have an impact on my late swap, right? So like those are the things that you want to be thinking about there. It's going to vary sport to sport, right? If I was playing the MLB slate today, there's a lot that's happened right after one game, in between one game. Skubal has 14 strikeouts. Gavin Williams has 8 strikeouts, no earned runs. Both those guys pitched really, really well. The hitters did not do good. I think it's okay to leave filters off and just roll with the live data because, so many hitters missed. The first two pitchers pitched really, really good. And I think that, that might just be enough to go off of alone, right? So timing, how much live data is available, how big your pool is, those are like the main factors that are going to come to mind for me when determining which way I should go. All right, say it again. 20 max, 150 max, but I don't max out these contests. Could you show me how you would set up lineup groups for these contests, or do I just include them all in one portfolio? Thank you. Okay, yeah, good question. So what I would probably do here is I would do the single entry group, right, which will cover all your single entries. I would do in one group, right, grouping all your singles together. I would do your MMB build. This says, like one per contest, like one group per contest. It's really just like 2+ lineups, right? If you have 2 or more, you can even say entries, right? 2+ entries, 2 or more entries in a contest, you're going to get a group for each contest. Okay. Then I would probably do one where I'm going to call it like sats/WTAs, where I'm going to group these together. I like to do it where like type is satellite or percent to first equals 100 or name includes winner, right? A little bit of redundancy here, but I think you can just like make sure that you don't miss anything by doing this, right? I'm getting satellites. Well, if they're custom satellites, I'm getting like 100% first. I'm just covering the name here with like winner take all. And if I have these set up, then it should capture all of them every single time, right? And then I star them all. That way for future builds and slates, they automatically go. I like running these 3 templates. I think that it is a very sound thing to do. So that's what I would roll with. All right, next question. Looking for some help setting up geomean filter. Could you do a demo or a bookmark to where I can find it for the new portfolio management? Yeah, I've been getting a lot of requests about this, from time to time here on the show and like multiple times a week. So I decided to create a video in case you guys haven't seen it. You can find it in the Office Hours channel. So if like you go to Discord, you go to Office Hours, okay? It is a pinned message here. I just did it yesterday, but I just said been asked what is geomean a couple times lately, recorded a new video breaking it down and explaining it, going to pin it to the channel here. So did a video. I did an original one and my sound was like a little buzzy, so I redid it. The good thing is that the old geomean video was on like the old UI, which is why we got rid of it. So I recorded a new one just pretty quick on the latest and greatest UI. So you can find it in our Discord via this link. You click it, it'll take you right to the video. It's about 5-ish minutes, but it does break it all down. So that is where I would go to find the video. I'll even link it here in case anybody wants to catch it. Not just hanging out here in the YouTube chat. So drop this video. Anybody can go watch it. And there it is. All right. Good stuff there. Next question. In contest flashback, when the actual ROI goes from positive to negative, is that the cash cut line? Good question. So not exactly. So think about flashback. We'll do like a simple example, right? Okay, so let's say we're playing a $1 single entry and we're going to contest sim this, right? So flashback is just a contest sim with all of the actual lineups that were played. And then in flashback, we take all the actual lineups, we play them out, 100,000 times. And then we return how much money the lineup won versus how much money the lineup lost, and then solve the ROI. So let's say we're going to run the sim 100,000 times X contest sim. So ROI is money won divided by money spent, basically. So it's how much money your lineup won versus effectively the entry fees, right? Money spent is entry fees, okay? So let's say we run this contest sim, and that means that we're going to have in the denominator 100,000 in entry fees, right? And I'll actually type it out. So now we just need to figure out how much money the lineup won, right? Well, let's say that the lineup won, $110,000, right? This would be about a 10% ROI, right? This lineup made more money than it spent. Let's say that the lineup made $90,000. Well, this would be a negative ROI, right? Because it didn't make as much money as it spent. This is also a good example of when people ask, hey, why do I see the winning lineups be negative ROI? Well, just because the lineup is negative ROI doesn't mean it never wins, right? It still had to win and make money and cash and all those things in order to get to this number, but it just didn't win enough to outpace the entry fees over time, right? So the way the ROI works is it has less to do with the caching rate and more just total money spent total money won divided by total money spent. So this includes caches, this includes wins, this includes top 10s, all those things, right? Anywhere the lineup places in the standings, it's adding all of those different things up and then taking it from the entry fees, telling you, hey, sign up negative ROI, sign up positive ROI, and then it'll, sum that up on a user level as well, right? So that's what's going on with the contest sim. All right. And it looks like we are all caught up here. I know it's a little bit of a slow day in the DFS streets. I think everyone, grinded NFL all weekend, and then obviously baseball started early, one WNBA showdown. So appreciate you guys tuning in. I will be back tomorrow, 4 p.m. Eastern for our next show. So until then, everybody take care. Good luck. Thanks. Bye.